primeira parte deste documentário, Juliette Binoche levou-nos ao coração da Amazónia, onde Rodolphe Gosselin estuda a ligação entre a desflorestação e o surgimento de doenças infecciosas.
O que l'on peut prévoir, c'est qu'il y en aura d'autres.
No Gabão, Gaël Maganga explicou-nos porque é que os morcegos são um reservatório para vários vírus, que podem contaminar os humanos quando o seu habitat é perturbado. Na Tailândia, Serge Morin estabeleceu uma ligação entre a perda da biodiversidade e o surgimento de doenças.
C'est la fabrique des pandémies.
Nos Estados Unidos, Richard Otzfeld e Felicia Kissing demonstraram que a fragmentação das florestas provoca a proliferação do rato de patas brancas, que é o reservatório da bactéria que dá origem à doença de Lyme.
Generalist species like the white-footed mouse are the species that are transmitting those viruses and bacteria to us.
Coupé!
Mais uma vez fiquei impressionada pelo grande trabalho de pesquisa realizado pelos investigadores. Richard e Felicia conduziram vários estudos para compreender o aumento do número de ratos de patas brancas e carraças quando os seres humanos destroem as florestas. Na sua terminologia, o rato de patas brancas é um hospedeiro competente para a bactéria de Lyme, porque infeta 90% das carraças que dele se alimentam. Pelo contrário, a maioria dos animais que vivem na floresta são hospedeiros incompetentes.
So here is a non-competent host. So a tick feeding on a white-tailed deer has a very low probability of getting infected with Lyme bacteria, down around 3%. The raccoon is also an incompetent host. Another very incompetent host would be the Virginia opossum. More than 90% of the ticks trying to feed on opossums get killed during the course of grooming. And so opossums are a very good dilution host.
So you coined the concept of dilution effect. So what does the dilution effect reveal?
The dilution effect reveals that when we have a community of lots and lots of different species in an area, it dilutes the effects of the species that are most likely to infect ticks, in the Lyme disease example. Species that coexist with mice, they're siphoning the ticks away from the mice and onto their own bodies, so they're diluting the impact of mice. So when forests are fragmented, typically larger bodied species that need more space to survive start to disappear.
Can you give us an example?
Foxes are low competence hosts. We also know that these foxes are excellent mouse hunters. They eat a lot of mice and other small mammals.
It's interesting because with the predators, it feels that they would be more dangerous for human beings, certain predators, and actually they are protecting us.
That's right. We perceive them as being a threat, but actually they're the opposite.
So when we fragment forests, we get rid of the protective species and we amplify the abundance of the most dangerous species, and that leads to higher risk for a number of disease systems.
Does that mean that there's a link between biodiversity loss and the emergence of infectious diseases?
There very clearly is. Those species that are most likely to transmit pathogens to us are the same ones that thrive when diversity declines.
Nunca esquecerei estes momentos mágicos num dos mais belos santuários ornitológicos do mundo.
Un bille sauvage.
300 espécies de aves vivem ou passam por este refúgio de biodiversidade. Escondido no centro do Mangal, um ecossistema pantanoso onde reinam os mangues. O meu guia chama-se Gerardo Suzanne. Depois de estudar veterinária, tirou um doutoramento em biologia nos Estados Unidos sobre o efeito de diluição. Atualmente dirige um laboratório internacional cujo propósito é medir o efeito de diluição em zonas protegidas como Celestun.
The mangrove is one of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth, and it provides a connection between species from the sea and species from the land, and several niches for a great diversity of fishes, reptiles, birds, mammals. This is a very nice rodent that you can find only in a well-preserved area, and they live in trees, and they eat only special seeds from this kind of environments. His niche is over there.
It's a specialist.
It's a specialist. You cannot find in cattle areas or in agricultural land, so this only in this area.
And they're very important for pathogens because they're competent. They're non-competent. Am I understanding well?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's the way. So if we cut the mangrove, we will lose this kind of species. These kind of bats are very specialist, and also they live only in these areas. It's eating and reducing the population of mosquitoes, and if we lose them, the mosquito population can rise. If we lose them, we need them. If we don't have it, we will
Get beaten,
we will get
and we
beaten.
can have lots of different
Exactly,
illnesses.
several diseases, that West Nile and dengue and another diseases.
Hoje levantámo-nos às 4 horas da madrugada, noite cerrada. Para Gerardo e os seus colegas, é o momento ideal para montar armadilhas para aves. O amanhecer. Escutei o nascer do dia como se fosse a primeira vez.
So why do you catch them?
For taking blood and searching for pathogens.
So,
It's not hurt?
no, so far it's okay. So there are plenty of species of birds. We don't know which pathogens they have, most of them. So we are trying to understand how some species are linked to some pathogens.
No laboratório de Gerardo, cada um tem a sua especialidade, para não dizer a sua obsessão. Como David Ruiz, um entomólogo espanhol que sabe tudo, ou quase tudo, sobre mosquitos.
So
This is the trap to capture the mosquitoes. So we capture them to see if they have viruses inside, because mosquitoes are vectors of many diseases, like malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zika, chikungunya, and also West Nile viruses. And here we have Culex mosquitoes that are the vectors of West Nile.
And what kind of illness is this?
It's
what
a
are
meningitis
symptoms?
and encephalitis. So it's fever. 90% of cases is asymptomatic. So 1% of the people that have the disease can die.
Tal como a gripe, certas aves são portadoras do vírus do Nilo Ocidental, mas não os colibris.
Aquí tenemos las jeringas y el tubito. This is very nice bird. This is a kingfish. It's a specialist. It's a bird that is usually in the rivers and by healthy waters, healthy ecosystems.
5 centímetros.
It could have some pathogens, but not related with some of the one that we are looking for. We collect cloacal swab. This sample is very helpful to measure microbiomes, to measure the virus that are transmitted by feces. For example, West Nile viruses, you can identify it in that sample by PCR and other molecular techniques.
So is it competent or non-competent, this one?
No competent.
Non-competent.
Yes, non-competent. Most of the species that we can collect here in the protected area are not competent.
Non-competent to West Nile virus.
The West Nile is a disease transmitted by mosquitoes, so when a mosquito bites an incompetent bird, and after it bites a human, it cannot transmit the disease.
So that's what you call the dilution effect, is it?
Exactly. That's the dilution effect. So more non-competent species, less disease for us.
On the opposite, in areas where there is a human settlements, where there is a cattle or agriculture, you expect to have more species that can transmit easily the pathogens.
oui.
No dia seguinte, uma mudança total de cenário. O laboratório de Gerardo fica numa zona agrícola, dedicada durante muito tempo à monocultura de agave.
Isabel, vámonos!
Atualmente, Arsénio cria gado neste local.
Vamos, Pinta, Tejano!
Hoje, o fazendeiro recebe a visita da Sra. Manchal, uma epidemiologista do Ministério da Saúde, especialista em novas doenças infecciosas.
Al pendiente o que ha estado al cuidado de animales y este tipo.
Y en el pueblo hubo Zika. Sí, hubo como 3 casos. No se conocía antes. Creo que solo en Brasil había, hasta en que llegó aquí. Son enfermedades nuevas, posiblemente por la tala de tantos árboles. La ganadería deforesta mucho, junto con la industria.
Neste local, as aves são maioritariamente portadoras do vírus do Nilo Ocidental.
This species is Passerina cyanea. It's common in agricultural areas. It's competent for West Nile virus.
Entre os roedores, são também as espécies generalistas que dominam.
Es un heterómido. These species have two sacs here, and they collect seeds, and they help the forest to disperse the seeds
Like bees, almost.
Exactly, it's like bees. Or they are offering a service for the forest. Since a generalist, they can live in different places. We are favoring them with our activities, with human activities. These species can get hantaviruses, arenaviruses. It's not a good competent reservoir for hantaviruses.
Nunca tinha ouvido falar de hantavírus, nos quais Gerardo é especialista. Contou-me que estes vírus existem há 30 milhões de anos, associados aos roedores. Mas não eram um problema para o ser humano. Até 1993, quando uma doença desconhecida fez manchetes nos Estados Unidos.
We begin with a mysterious epidemic in the southwestern United States that has U.S. medical investigators baffled. The flu-like illness is taking a toll on a Navajo reservation. The disease has already killed 10 people, and doctors are looking into 25 other suspected cases. It strikes suddenly and can kill in a day.
Looking back from the midst of the COVID pandemic, it's interesting to see what an early warning sign that was, you know.
O culpado foi finalmente identificado. Um hantavírus que prolifera em monoculturas. Nas Américas, provoca uma doença pulmonar cuja taxa de mortalidade pode atingir os 40%. Pode infectar pessoas que entrem em contacto com terra ou alimentos contaminados por fezes de roedores. O hantavírus, que surgiu em 1993, foi designado de sin nombre, ou sem nome, pois era totalmente desconhecido.
What is the reservoir of the sin nombre virus?
The deer mouse, Paramyscus maniculatus, which is this creature right here. They have an extraordinarily large geographic range. They are a true generalist.
Does the dilution effect work for hantavirus disease?
Yes, it's been shown to work in 6 different hantavirus diseases, both in the old world and the new world. When we create monocultures, by definition, we are reducing diversity, and we're also creating an environment where we give rise to the proliferation of these reservoir hosts, and that can result in a new emergence event somewhere.
The emerging of hantaviruses, Ebola, SARS, Nipah, they're indications of a strong reaction of nature. What do we need to learn from it?
We've been living a lifestyle that was accumulating an environmental debt. We're starting to have to pay it through climate change, through biodiversity loss, through pandemics. So what we need to do is adjust the way that we're living to without doing such damage to the environment.
Como reduzir o nosso impacto no ambiente? Para responder a esta questão fundamental, fomos ao país dos Maasais, cujo território se estende até à Tanzânia e ao sopé do Kilimanjaro. Este povo seminómada vive da criação de gado. Os Maasais levam as manadas a pastar para a savana, entre a fauna selvagem, em harmonia com o seu meio ambiente. Estas práticas de pastoreio inspiraram os criadores do One Health, ou Uma Saúde, que se tornou a palavra de ordem da ONU e é promovido por todos os cientistas que encontramos. Hoje, Josephine Gold, a representante britânica da UNEP, o Programa das Nações Unidas para o Ambiente, veio presidir a inauguração de um laboratório, parte do programa One Health, financiado pelo Reino Unido em 4 países africanos. um deles o Quênia. No seu comando está um trio multidisciplinar de cientistas, um professor de medicina.
I'm Dismas Ongore from University of Nairobi.
Um biólogo.
Eric Fabre from the University of Liverpool and the International Livestock Research Institute in Nairobi.
E um zoólogo.
My name is Matthew Bayliss from the University of Liverpool in the UK.
Com 2 veterinários convidados.
Jakob Zinstag from the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute.
Yahya Mairane from Jijiga University, Ethiopia.
Thank you very much.
We can all recognise, just looking outside of this tent, how intimately related the animals and the environment are here with the people who live in this region. And that is really what One Health is about, to consider at the same time animal health, human health, and the health of the environment that we live in.
The COVID pandemic has been a wake-up call for the world, and now we've seen the consequences of not really fully understanding One Health and how human, animals, and the environment all interact.
Após a inauguração, os investigadores encontram-se com uma comunidade Maasai que vive perto do Parque Nacional de Amboseli. Vieram introduzir o laboratório One Health, que permitirá a coordenação do acompanhamento médico de animais e pessoas. Jacob, suíço, e Yaya coordenam um programa semelhante na Etiópia, que inspira os seus colegas britânicos e quenianos.
Check. Hii ni gani? Siram. Iko ugonjwa yote hii? Hakuna. Hii ni gani?
Yes, it is.
Kwa Kimasai inaitwa? Iko.
There are a lot of diseases that move between animals and people. So the work that we do is to help the community to protect themselves from the diseases that their animals might be carrying.
The most important thing is to control this disease, so surveillance is very important. At the community level, we have health workers, both of them for human as well as for animal. In this way, we can prevent future pandemics.
One Health is certainly a change of paradigm from the past, when the medical profession and the veterinary profession and the environmental professions were separated.
One Health is very important from the perspective of understanding how things come together to create the conditions for a pandemic.
For a comprehensive, a holistic approach to the problem, we need to work together.
The transdisciplinary approach that you just mentioned means that as academics we engage with non-academic actors, with the communities, and this will help us to find locally adapted solutions that we could not find if we don't work together.
And in particular in an area like this, with the Maasai community, who are famous across the world for the respect that they have for their animals and for the environment.
There's a lot to learn from how they have done it through the ages.
And then I think the world would become a better place for everybody.
No Quênia, vivem 900 mil Maasais, em bomas, estruturas comunitárias onde animais e pessoas coabitam. As manadas passam a noite no centro do boma para protegê-las de ataques de predadores como leões e hienas. Todos os dias começam com a ordenha das vacas. Os Maasais não separam os bezerros das mães. O leite é partilhado e constitui o alimento base das famílias. Parmvat é o chefe do Boma. Uma das suas vacas sofre de uma doença desconhecida. Contactou o veterinário que colabora com o laboratório One Health e que também é Maasai.
Let's say parasite. Yeah. Can you easily pull it off or try to pull it off? Yeah. Then you can try to watch it in the microscope. If it is mange, then you should see it. Is this the only animal in the herd, or are there other animals?
There are four of them. Four of them.
Yeah, four.
Yeah. So this is the first time to see this kind of disease.
No, this is a typical livestock disease. I would treat them all together.
Yeah, you treat them all together. Yeah, sure.
I want to ask him, you also live with the wild animals and the livestock? Yes, we have few lion, leopard. There are very few, but not that much like here, like Maasai.
How do you live with the large predators or so?
They're important in the ecosystem because they maintain the balance of other animals by predating on the other animals.
In Europe, we try in many different places to reintroduce larger wildlife, some predators like wolves or lynx, and there is a lot of resistance in our population against. It would be very good if we have an exchange between you and our people to discuss how can we live together while maintaining wildlife in a natural environment.
We have to conserve the environment by not cutting the tree, not killing the animals. Everything is interconnected.
Tudo está interligado. Esta verdade, frequentemente esquecida, é o lema desta estação do One Health, que depende do Instituto Internacional de Pesquisa Pecuária, em Nairobi. Nesta quinta experimental de 1.300 hectares, animais selvagens coabitam com manadas de animais domésticos, nomeadamente os camelos. No Quênia, 3 milhões de dromedários são criados pela carne ou pelo leite. Mas estão sob alta vigilância desde que, em 2012, um vírus misterioso surgiu na Arábia Saudita.
A deadly virus from the Middle East has turned up for the very first time right here in the United States. It's called MERS, which is an acronym for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. It's apparently been found in camels. Health officials don't know how it's spreading to humans. What is MERS? Tell me about
MERS
this
is a coronavirus that has a mortality rate of about 35%. It's of bat origin, and now, with respect to humans, camels are the primary reservoir.
Come on, boys. Come on. Easy.
Pobres camelos, sofrem dos mesmos males que nós, humanos. Fazem-lhes testes PCR que não apreciam nada. Eric Fevre e os seus colegas procuram compreender por que razão o vírus SRME, detectado em quase 50% dos dromedários, não fez vítimas humanas no Quênia, ao contrário do vírus que circula no Médio Oriente. Procuram também compreender por que razão os coronavírus dos morcegos passaram subitamente a afetar os humanos. A primeira vez foi em 2002, com o SARS-CoV-1, que provocou uma epidemia de SRAG, Síndrome Respiratória Aguda Grave, primeiro na China e depois em Hong Kong.
There are more than 200 known different coronaviruses. It's mostly in domestic animals or in wildlife. We were used to treat coronaviruses in cats, in dogs, in calves, in pigs, in chicken. We didn't feel threatened at all. But what is new is really that it jumps over to the humans and then it is massively transmitted between humans. That is new.
The way I think about this is that viruses have a key. And that key opens certain doors. So we're always watching to see when the coronaviruses and other viruses are going to learn how to change their key to open the door to humans.
We seriously hope that in the aftermath of the COVID-19, the world will learn and walk towards a One Health approach. This will be our chance to maybe not prevent new outbreaks, but keep them as low as possible.
Foi em Madagascar que compreendi verdadeiramente que os grandes desafios que a humanidade enfrenta estão intimamente ligados. A destruição da biodiversidade, o surgimento de doenças infecciosas e as alterações climáticas. Chegámos à região do Parque Nacional de Ranomafana, na altura em que foi atingida pelo terceiro ciclone da época. Desde que o clima se alterou, os ciclones são cada vez mais frequentes e violentos. Desde a madrugada, os habitantes arregaçam as mangas para desobstruir e reparar as estradas, numa onda de solidariedade que me comoveu. Dezenas de famílias que vivem no interior refugiaram-se na escola e no salão paroquial da pequena cidade de Ranomafana. Algumas perderam tudo. E devo dizer que senti raiva.
Misy ny valanaretina zany izay ateraky ny fandalovan'ny cyclone, ny areti-pivalanana, ny tazomoka. Inona li hitatsy ny entina teo? Moustiquaire ataontsika miaraka andre mandeha sa roa telo? Moustiquaire!
Dia misy ny fizarana an'ireto kit hygiène reto misy botifotsy ao misy kasibozy clean savony ary moustiquaire natao hiarovana antsika zany hoe mahakasika an'izay fahasalamana hozaraina antsika ao.
Madagascar é um dos países mais desflorestados do mundo. 90% das florestas originais desapareceram. Um processo iniciado nos tempos da colonização francesa que encorajou a exploração excessiva das madeiras exóticas das árvores que cobriam a maior parte da ilha. O cenário é desolador, mas há rasgos de esperança. Estes homens e mulheres são voluntários num vasto programa de reflorestação. Responderam ao apelo de uma mulher excepcional, Patricia Wright, acompanhada por Thomas Gillespie, um especialista em morcegos de Atlanta. Patricia é uma primatóloga norte-americana. Em 2003, criou o Centro Valbio, que atualmente incorpora um novo conceito de desenvolvimento batizado de saúde planetária.
C'est important planter les arbres pour commencer une nouvelle forêt. Thank you. Thank you. Here we are. This is the spirit of Central Bio. Every person has a different job, but we can work together for planetary health, working with people and the wildlife to make sure that all are saved for the future.
Hoje serão plantadas 3 espécies de árvores endémicas de Madagascar. Nada de eucaliptos nem de palmeiras, que crescem muito rapidamente, mas que a longo prazo erodem o solo. Valorizar a biodiversidade é o objetivo do Centro Valbio, que emprega 130 funcionários, pouco visíveis em época de ciclones. Instalado à entrada do Parque Nacional de Ranomafana, este instituto de pesquisa único no mundo permite estudar no terreno a fauna selvagem, bem como os vários benefícios que a floresta tropical presta gratuitamente à humanidade. Produz o oxigênio que respiramos, absorve e filtra as águas das fortes chuvas tropicais, capta e armazena o dióxido de carbono da atmosfera, o que é benéfico para o clima, purifica o ar, assimilando os agentes poluentes e, claro, controla as doenças. Tudo isto são os benefícios das árvores.
Look, it's a water pig. Amazing. It's a very big old tree. So the lemurs come right down here and sit when the figs are ripe. So this is an important plant for climate change, for the refuge of the animals.
Patricia chegou em 1986 a este santuário da extraordinária biodiversidade malgache. Apaixonou-se à primeira vista pelos lemurs, primatas que não se encontram em nenhum outro local.
Look, they're there. Where? Right up there in the tree. They're feeding. Oh, yeah. They're feeding. Ah, that's great. Amazing. Aren't they beautiful? It's just so spectacular. Oh, they're starting to jump. Look. They're leaping.
Oh, yeah.
It's called vertical clinging and leaping.
So what was the first movement of love towards lemurs that you had?
And I was walking along the trail, and then suddenly, like a meter away from me, there was this shafaka. And he looked into my eyes. And he had beautiful orange, amber eyes. And he looked at me like I was, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I want to study you. There's 110 species altogether in the island of Madagascar. The golden bamboo lemur. I discovered it here in this forest. It eats bamboo all day long. That's the Indri, which is the biggest of all the lemurs. It's the opera singer of the lemurs. 94% of the lemurs are critically endangered. The major reason is the forest is gone. And lemurs are the umbrella species for all this incredible biodiversity that's found in this forest.
What do you mean by umbrella?
They protect all of the different species They're a flagship.
People don't realize how quickly we're losing habitats around the world, and especially the tropical rainforest, which is so essential for us in relation to so many things, from climate change to protecting us from pandemics to ensuring biodiversity for all the ecosystem services that it provides.
So can we preserve the lemurs without addressing the question of poverty?
There's no way. The people that are around the park are very, very poor. They need the trees to cook their food. They're cutting down the forest in order to plant beans and rice. And so we started working on alternatives and trying to help with their health, with their education, but also their economics.
Madagascar é um dos países mais pobres do mundo. 80% dos 27 milhões de habitantes vivem, ou melhor, sobrevivem, em zonas rurais, afastadas de tudo. Aqui, as pessoas deslocam-se a pé, no meio de colinas nuas. Todos os anos, 100 mil hectares de floresta são reduzidas a cinzas para praticar agricultura de queimada ou para fabricar carvão.
Alors là, on arrive au site communautaire d'Ambatsiputi. C'est un petit village, donc c'est là qu'il y a les agents communautaires qu'on va visiter.
Andrés Carchitonera, investigador do Instituto de Pesquisa para o Desenvolvimento, e a epidemiologista Laura Cordier trabalham para a Associação Pivot, criada em 2014 com o apoio do Centro Valbio. A sua missão é facilitar o acesso a tratamentos, em parceria com o Ministério da Saúde. Em Madagascar, 1 em cada 6 crianças morre antes do primeiro aniversário. Vítimas de doenças ligadas ao ambiente, como diarreia, doenças respiratórias ou paludismo. Em cada aldeia, a Pivot abre um centro de saúde, gerido por voluntários, formados em prestação de cuidados primários e detecção de doenças.
Mafano sady mikohaka.
Ao admirar a paisagem que rodeia esta pequena aldeia, compreendi que a conservação das florestas, crucial para a nossa saúde, passa pela erradicação da pobreza. O destino dos malgaches é, sem dúvida, um problema de todos nós.
Comment vivre avec la forêt sans la détruire?
Le centre Valbio, quand ils ont approché la communauté qui entoure le parc, ils ont demandé « Vous avez besoin de quoi pour préserver ce parc ?» Et la réponse, c'est la santé et l'éducation. Nous collaborons avec le centre Valbio pour que les gens qui sont censés protéger la forêt aient accès aux soins pour pouvoir protéger cette forêt et que la forêt les protège.
Donc ça, c'est un nouveau concept de développement global. Donc vous êtes un laboratoire.
Oui, ça fait vraiment partie de notre vision, c'est de rompre le cycle de la pauvreté et de la maladie, dans les deux sens.
Les dynamiques environnementales, les dynamiques des populations humaines, les dynamiques économiques, tout ça c'est très lié. Donc on a besoin de vraiment des approches multidisciplinaires. Ça permet vraiment d'innover et d'influencer ensuite les politiques nationales et internationales.
Para romper o ciclo da pobreza, o Centro Valbio apoia a atividade económica na região de Ranomafana. Financiou um alambique coletivo que permite destilar óleos essenciais a partir de plantas medicinais cultivadas entre as árvores. Chama-se um sistema agroflorestal. Hoje, um grupo de camponeses e curandeiros tradicionais forneceram folhas de canforeira para fabricar ravinsara, o óleo essencial mais vendido em todo o mundo.
Alors, ça sont des feuilles de ravinsara. Et qu'est-ce qu'on fait avec le ravinsara? Et pourquoi c'est important de garder ces traditions médicinales avec les plantes?
Jadi fela fa hoe mandeha ohatr'izao no misy ny hoe folaka zany na miambaka zany dia afaka manao an'ilay izy ao zany misabo azy ao amin'ny famonjena zany mandrapahatonga amin'ny manam-pahaizana.
So what's the relationship between the center and those healers working in villages?
From the very start, the center is focused on valuing biodiversity. And here there are unique linkages to very unique biodiversity. And the traditional medicinals are part of that knowledge. So planetary health is all of these different ways that we understand the complexity of the environment and our relationship with it.
Vejam esta lanterna na noite. Adorava que iluminasse os políticos, para que compreendessem que a saúde das pessoas depende da saúde do ambiente e dos animais selvagens que nele vivem.
The smallest of all primates.
Como este lémur-rato, um lémur muito pequeno e noturno que não suporta a luz do dia.
The eyes are so amazing. He's really looking,
Trying to understand what's going on.
Their genetic profile is very similar to ours. These are one of our distant cousins.
So are they warnings to us?
They are a clear sentinel for us. The same challenges they're facing, we're facing just down the road. We're just having a little bit of time to realize, to see reality, and to change our path. Otherwise, we're on the same way that these other species are.
Extinction.
Extinction. We have to change, and now is the time.
Tem fé, pequeno lémur. Desde que conheci Rodolphe, Gaël, Serge, Rick e Felicia, Gerardo e David, Matthew, Eric e Jacob, Thomas e Patricia, compreendi que ainda vamos a tempo de salvar a biodiversidade, onde todos habitamos, desde que hajamos o quanto antes.
La biodiversité a un rôle protecteur pour l'humanité. Ça, il faut que les gens le comprennent.
The current rate of biodiversity loss, of extinction, is anywhere between 100 and 1,000 times higher than the worst extinction episodes in our planet's history.
Il faut recréer du lien entre les humains et les non-humains. C'est-à-dire il faut réapprendre à vivre ensemble. Ça, c'est la seule solution.
So what we need is to change also this attitude we have of domination to nature.
We're embedded in political and economic systems that encourage us to be blind to the consequences of our actions.
On s'est rendu compte que les causes majeures, déforestation et tout ça, c'était lié à l'économie, au modèle économique qu'on avait de croissance infinie sur une planète qui est finie.
It mustn't become a race to the bottom to exploit everything you can so a few people can get really rich and then you're left with nothing behind.
The solution is everywhere, in the cities, in the countryside, in the way we get our food, in the way we get our energy. We've got to rethink everything.
We need sustainable food production, protecting environment.
It's only 4 commodities that are really key to the loss of that habitat, which are oil palm production, soy production, so cattle production, and timber industries.
So if we all curbed our animal product consumption, a little bit, it would have a huge benefit for the environment.
If we preserve the natural world, then we reduce that risk of pandemics, and we also reduce the impacts of climate change.
The drivers are all the same. They not only overlap, but they intertwine.
The state has an important role to play, and because many of the problems cannot be solved by private actors.
And that requires bravery from a policy perspective.
And you want to say, motherfuckers, move your ass! Come on, take hands.
All these years you tried to raise